As busy moms, it goes without saying that we are entitled to our necessary breaks to keeping on with our many expectations of mothering. And me, your host, Flantha, is the mama down to join you for the necessary distraction we all need when life gets too hard, too real, and too much. Join me for an hour of necessary distraction of laughs, cries, and everything in between from adulting, culture, relationships, confessions, and beyond.
So, hello. This is our third
Hi.
Leah and I, we've been sitting here trying to figure out some technical difficulties. And on your end, you're definitely not going to hear this at all. This is Flantha, your host. And today we are going to be talking about how we found each other. We're going to be talking about all the mocktails that you can make up and just the mama behind the scene of this small, local Minnesotan, amazing business. And we were just talking a little bit about how this is going to be her first year doing taxes for the first time as a small business. Honestly, the conversations keep going. So you're definitely in for a good hour. Hi, Leah.
Hi. I'm so glad to be here.
Good. Okay, so first, we know that you're a mom. Second, we know that you are your own CEO of your own business.
Yes.
And thirdly, this may be a family business.
My husband just left his job in August. So we're working together, making dreams come true.
Okay, so tell us what you do.
So about a year ago, I started a craft cocktail concentrate company. So the whole purpose of our company is to make craft cocktails easy, craft cocktails and craft mocktails. I was motivated to start this because for my family, we take one day a week and we get together and have dinner. We have happy hour together. And because I'm really blessed to have all of my parents and two of my brothers, my nephews, all live in the same small town together. And so we've always had this kind of ritual of getting together and taking time. And for me, happy hour does that, whether I'm with my friends or I'm with my family, sitting and connecting and setting the to-do list aside and setting the busyness aside. We get to do that when we all sit down together. And it's like that moment when you take a sip of an incredible drink and you just melt into your chair. You're like, okay, now I'm here. So it just brings, I don't know what it is about maybe it's indulging or maybe it's flavors or the freshness. But when you take that moment just to be together, it's brings in mindfulness and connection, and it all kind of went together for me.
I would say that's a moment of connection and magicalness all in the mess, especially when you've got those different generations there and just so many relational stories that you guys can bring in together. You know, it's never a bad time when you guys are all winding down together and you guys enjoy each other's presence. In this day and age, with everything that's happened in the last couple of years, I feel like what you do, you're bringing home a little sense of home and a little sense of adults kind of liberating themselves a little bit. A full-on cocktail or a mocktail of your liking that you know is going to be good the first time without trying it out and being like, nah. And I think that's why I'm personally so invested in what you do, because I literally want every single version of mocktail as possible because it sounds so good. I don't know how you come up with the samples, but you do. And just reading it, I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. I want that. How can I have that?
You're right. It's all the fresh flavors that I love. And so I just took everything because normally I would just I buy all the ingredients and I buy all the fresh herbs because I love herbs in my cocktails. And so you buy the fresh herbs and the garnish and all the things and you put it together and it's super magical and delicious. But I want that every night. I want that moment every night. But I always say at the end of the night, I have whiskey Coke strength. I can pour two things together and then I need to sit down in 10 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
That's what this creates is I can pour this and this together and I'm just going to stir it and it's going to taste great every time. Because there's nothing worse than futzing over a new recipe and then having it suck. You're like, oh, I really just wanted a good drink.
That is so true. And at that point, I just pour more liquor and be like, that was the whole point, right, Flantha? Just the whole point with the liquor. So just
more. That'll fix
just
it.
More and ice and call it a day, okay?
And then by the end, you're like, that wasn't bad. You know,
because you don't
3
remember it.
ounces
And you're
of
like, I think
vodka.
that was a great one. And you pour
I might
yourself
have
a second
another
or a
one.
third.
That was good.
So I noticed that you're sipping on something. Tell me what that is.
Well, the whole point of this podcast is for moms to take a break. So
Yes.
like, I'm a mom. I'm taking a break. So I made myself a little ginger margarita. I used my ginger, lime, and peppercorn concentrate, just added some tequila and sparkling water.
Woo-woo. I love your little
Perfect
there.
for it is sub-zero here. It is like negative 27 in Minnesota and absolutely miserable.
I feel like you should be doing like drink of the day. And I feel like what you just described there was like so perfect for today because I can taste like the crispness and the heat of the peppercorn because that's what we're all wanting secretly. But it just pairs so much better with like just fresh ice, even though it's like super cold out. I think that's just the Minnesotans and us. We still like our ice cream in the middle of winter. So I think, I think your company does a great job at that.
Like, don't you just want a good cup of tea? Not really. I actually don't.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so now that we're getting to know you a little bit, so like, what is the process for you when it comes to like crafting the mocktail, sourcing it, bottling, flavoring, picking? What is all of that? I can only imagine the behind the scenes because you're doing so much. There's so much of a vetting process.
Right. So I started out with like 20 flavors and I just kept trying different things that I thought would be good together. And I brought them all to like my shows, little markets and pop-up shops and shows with me. And then I just narrowed it down to the ones that were most popular. And so for me, my favorite days are R&D days. So research and development, I go to the store, I buy everything that looks delicious to me. I buy all the herbs, I buy all the fruit. Yeah, I buy fresh ginger, anything. Usually it's a combination of something juicy and something earthy and something like really fresh and herbal. So I want the combination of like fresh and bright, but like these little earthy undertones. So like this last one, last week, I developed the spring flavor. And I bought a bunch of dried peppers and teas and berries. And so I ended up with a blueberry, mint, and black tea. And it is so good.
That sounds delicious. See, now you're making me jealous. Like I should have had one of your like mocktail, like concentrates here. And I should have made myself one here at 1:00 in the afternoon.
I will send you one. I will send you the sampler.
What? No way.
I don't know, we didn't do that before.
Oh my God.
I was literally laying in bed last night. I was like, did I even send her one?
Oh my gosh, you are the sweetest.
Done.
I would love it. I'd love to promote it for you. It just, everything you're saying, it sounds so delicious. And every mama, we love our go-to drinks. And we love that we have to wind down. Like some days you just really have had it and tea is not going to cut it at 9:00. Okay. And it doesn't need to be a Friday in order for it to be delicious. And so I love that you allow that permission for mamas to be like, here's a good concentrate. You can see how this would be great with alcohol, but that is to your liking, and it'll add on.
They are really good as mocktails if you're pregnant or you're not drinking right now or you're trying to cut back. They're really like, I have a pineapple jalapeno and turmeric that's like makes a spicy margarita amazing, but you mix it just with sparkling water and a little like lime juice. When I do mocktails, I add like a little extra citrus, but it is just really sippable and really fresh. Because I own my own company, so I get to make all the shots, call all the shots.
Yes,
which is really fun. Like, you know, when you parent, you're co-parenting, if you're fortunate enough to have a co-parent to help you, but part of the decision-making process. And then I started this company. I was like, I just get to make all the decisions and I love it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'm getting more comfortable with that because, this is all new, but I'm like, yeah, yes, come on, Flantha. Like, let's get a little bit more of that, like, male energy in you. Like, you can say yes, and that is the last call. You don't need to second guess that. So that leads me to my third question. I think this is my third. How we often talk about imposter syndrome, and it just seems like you're just overriding that completely. As like a business owner, as a mom, like what are your 3 guided pieces of advice for overcoming it?
I would say, so imposter syndrome can be real some days. Like that still happens. So our business is growing and I have this phenomenal chairman of our board who is a past business owner and really like drills into some of like the hardcore business things. But like I'm a past teacher. Last year, I was literally doing this out of a closet in my basement from 3 to 7 in the morning. And then I would go to school and teach rowdy 7th graders to love poetry and write narratives in English class. And then at night, I would just like research how to own a business because I'm a total creative.
We are both laughing here because I am that. In my first episode, I talked about how I'm a dreamer, a doer. I like to think I'm a doer. I do like to execute, but it's like sometimes a lot of work. And I'm like, how can we do this smarter? And so ultimately, I'm a thinker. Like I can literally think all day long and then process all day long and be analytical all day long. Well, we also know like you have to have action behind that. So
yeah, I would say that's my first piece of advice is just to do. So I didn't wait for it to be perfect until I sold my first bottle. Like my first bottles had a handwritten sticky note on it with like little craft papers thing that I was just like, I'm going to make all of them named after the season. So I had 4 flavors, winter, spring, summer, fall. And like, I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I gave them away as gifts. They were not the best iteration of the product. They definitely improved and continue to improve. And I learned a lot along the way. But like, number 1, I wasn't afraid just to start. I just did it. Number 2, I wasn't afraid of getting feedback. Like I asked everyone, what do you think? Some days I could handle it. Some days I would take it and then I'd go home and cry.
So crying will happen. Good to know that crying is going to happen and that is allowed. Because I feel like I cry a lot.
Totally. And I would say the third piece of advice is, and I'm just learning this, is just like you have to continue to take care of yourself. So I was super active and really like love moving my body. That's really good for my brain. I'm learning more about how my brain works and all that good stuff. And then I started this business and I was on this high of like learning new things and success. And then I was like, I have not moved my body in 12 months. So this week, actually, I just rejoined my CrossFit gym and it's like getting to know your body all over again. And I'm sore all over, but my brain is really happy.
Oh, yeah, that balance is everything. So I don't do CrossFit. I'm a pretty bad athlete. I was that kid in elementary school where like the gym teacher had to convince the kids, almost like paid them to be like, you have to pick her. And, you know,
that's why I love CrossFit. Total misconception. I'm a CrossFit, like when I'm in something, I'm 100% in. And so now I'm in CrossFit again. And like, I am the worst athlete. I'm the slowest. I'm afraid of any sport that has a ball. Like, I'm not sporty.
I've heard that too, but I also don't like being like, drills, do this, you're 1 minute, good job, play the next thing. And
you know, the first time I joined,
push. I don't know, that's not motivating for me. I'm kind of just like, can you not yell at me? Like, I don't like that.
Could you hand me a blanket?
Yeah, it's just more so like yoga, meditate. Can I like run for like 10 miles by myself? Like, don't touch me, don't talk to me. Let me just put my, like, I just want to hear the wind and don't bother me. I'll do the mile. I don't care. But how many rounds do we have left? And you're still yelling and this is a group effort. And I feel bad because the whole team's like, you're doing great and we're not competitive, but we are. So how dare you know what I mean? So it's like, after you've had that, like ever since kindergarten to like high school, you're kind of just like, I don't know. I think I'm a better like cheerleader on the side. I'm really good at that. I'm really good at the cocktails and I'm really good at making sure everybody has snacks. And I'm really good at rooting from the sidelines. Like I'm very okay with that. I feel like everybody needs their cheerleaders. I'm great at that. I can own that piece. So that's how I feel about it. My husband did CrossFit for a little bit. He loved it. He's like, nah, this feeds my military stance. And I'm like, this is great. I went with him one time and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And he's like, you're being such a baby. And I'm like, I don't, this very high stress environment. And he's like, your anxiety is all over the place. And I'm like, it is. I think working out's supposed to be the opposite. The CrossFit is not making me feel better. And so he's like, but don't you just love the results that you're getting? And I'm like, not at the pace that I have to do work to get it. So I don't care at this point how I look like. And he's like, God, you don't like it. I'm like, I'm not military. Like, I don't like that. I like to delegate. I like to be the boss. I don't like I don't like that. Like, You learn very quickly. I learned very quickly what I don't like. And I appreciate other people. Yeah. And I genuinely, like, when it comes to like the games of it, I'm like, good job. That's so great that you're so good at it. Like, I'm glad that you're so good at it. And not for me, but good for you. I see the art in it.
You do you. 100%.
Yes.
And I did it initially and I was like, I have to be the fastest best because I'm super competitive, but I'm a terrible athlete.
Yeah. See?
But then I came back. So I took a 2-year break from it. I did running, I did yoga, and I came back and I just told my coach, I was like, okay, maybe it's because like I've gotten more comfortable with myself, like making decisions, owning my own business. But I was like, here's how this is going to go. I'm not timing myself. I'm not counting reps. I'm going to be done when I'm done. And I'm going to do this how it feels good.
Yeah, that's how you know you're a business owner.
And if you talk like that, tell me if I'm about to hurt myself, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. I love that perspective. That just makes me so much more happier that you're on this podcast. Because I think as mamas, we all need that permission. Truly, I think we're really good at limiting ourselves. And I think we're really good at talking down our strengths and hearing you talk about your work and being CrossFit. You strive a lot. I can see the strength that it takes for you to have gotten here. And that literally goes to tell you how strong of a mom you are to have had your 2 and being like, nope, I'm still doing my passion. I'm going to get it and I'm doing this and it will happen. And I look forward to that because so many people tell me that.
See, isn't it? It's so good for our kids to see. My kids, when I told them that I was going to quit teaching and start this full time, they both cried. Not tears of joy. They cried because they're like, what if it doesn't work out financially? And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you got to take a leap. And we wouldn't take this risk if we didn't think that we were set up for success to do it. But we're going to take the leap to do it. And now they like walk into our warehouse and they see where we're building our tasting room and our production and they see how it's grown. And my older son, who is like, he's my heart. And he has the same like emotionality that I do. He'll be like, Mom, you're really killing it. Like, I'm so proud of you.
That really chills through me. That is so sweet. Like you've got to be able to look at yourself as a mom and be like, wow, holy shit, I did something right.
Yeah. And they've been through a lot. They are kids in a family where me and their dad got divorced 6 or 7 years ago. And I have been remarried for about 5 years. So they've been through a lot. It's rocky roads and learning new normals and blending families is really challenging. But I think I've always taught them to be patient and to be kind. And the discomfort that you're facing right now is just temporary. Like things do get better. And so it's been really beautiful to go through. Sounds weird. It's been really beautiful to go through the divorce with them and for them to see me grow, for them to see their dad grow, who I still have a great relationship with, and for them to grow as people and realize like, wow, we all did come through that. Wow, we did that.
Is so important to have that stability and that mindset to be like, this is uncomfortable and we're doing uncomfortable together. And we're going to rise through uncomfortable together. And we're going to go on the other side and be like, look at this happiness. Look at where we're going to. Like all feelings are allowed and always a processing of it is okay. And that I will be here every single part of you. We practice attached parenting. So a lot of it is just like literally us coaching our kid to just be a great adult in the world is how I like to say it, instead of it being like types of parenting. It's like, we don't know a lot of these things. So you do have to tell them like a teacher and process it with them. And I can see that you've done that. And so that's so cool, especially their kids, especially as a business owner. My 3-year-old, if she was here, she's at school right now, she'd be like, hi, I'm Avery. And you'll see her on my stories and she'll be like pretend to be talking to the screen too and be her little things that she'll be like, and I like pink. And just stare at the screen.
This is who I am today.
Yeah. And she's like, I just drew. And that will be it for like 5 minutes. It's the cutest thing. And like it literally is the mirror to me to kind of pat myself too and kind of give myself a break to be like, you're doing a good job. And she's seeing it and seeing this entrepreneurship and seeing the empowerment happening as a woman and what it means to really embrace that and keep leading for others. And I love that you're doing that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so I know that you mentioned this, whether it was here or in one of our sessions that was breaking apart, that you love a happy hour, and how your product came to be. It was being around your family and having that reminder of a good drink, a stand-up, strong one that you can be like this. I am in good company with good people. And that's why I'm like, and I am a loyal customer. Okay, so my bit here is called happy hour, and it's one thing you got to get off your chest. It's a personal or work pet peeve, a daily annoyance, something you hate to love. That could be the Kardashians, or like a guilty pleasure of yours.
Okay, so this is it's really tedious. A lot of what I have to do, bottling and labeling and shrink wrapping and packaging.
So that's all you then?
I'm still all doing all of that.
Oh my gosh, that comes with so much heart and craft. If you're not
right,
listening, you should go buy. This is the plug to support Nana Mama.
It's literally handcrafted. These hands put on shrink wrap, and
he's raising up both hands and true effort.
If there's lemon flavor, I zested those lemons. If you are tasting ginger root, I grated the ginger root. Like, I don't use anything fake in my product, so it's very time intensive. And then on top of it, like the bottling and all. So I would say my guilty pleasure is that I watch trashy TV while I am doing like my bottling and labeling. And currently I just finished Wentworth, which is like a female prison soap opera. Where we thought she was buried alive, but she wasn't, and she's coming back for her baby.
In the true mother's effort, in the true mother's strength, while still in prison, it is the baby that we miss. I can see that, and like you look at these storylines, you're like, oh my god, that is so dumb, but I want to see more.
I have to see more, and you got to a point where you're like, I have watched 7 seasons, and I've just got to finish it.
7 seasons?
I finished 8. It was 8. It was like, it reminded me of when I was breastfeeding my first son. I watched every single episode of Desperate Housewives and just like fed the shit out of that baby.
Yeah. You're like, I can do this.
This is my full-time job.
Yeah.
You eat. It is
I watch.
2 in the morning. I'm going to watch this.
My thing is I kept buying things when I was breastfeeding, and it was like, I was just like, do I need that? No, I don't need that. But it was so simple because you're still breastfeeding, and it's 3:00 in the morning, and you're like rationalizing, do I really need this thing? You're like, I do, okay?
And online shopping
is a lot, okay?
You only need to rationalize for like 13 seconds, and it's bought. It's done.
Yep. Yeah. Especially when it's like Amazon Prime and you're in your postpartum where it's like you can't really go anywhere anyway. So you're like, of course I deserve this to be delivered to me. Okay. I am holding down a
17 different body shapers. That's how I'm feeling today.
Yeah. Yes. I did use one though for about 2 months afterward, and everyone's like, you lost your weight. And I'm like, no, I did not. It's called there's a thing that holds all of my intestines together in order for me to just walk. Okay? That's what's happening.
Oh my goodness. After my first, it took 10 weeks. 10 weeks until I was not like sitting on a donut.
Did you tear?
Oh, they're like, you are such a good pusher. Whoa! And I was totally going to be a natural birth. 100%, no drug. I like had a birth plan, pages long, the music, the lighting. Do not put me in a bed. I want to walk. I'm going to have this baby the natural way. And my water broke and I had my first contraction. I was like, get me back in that effing bed and get me an epidural. And like my plan went out the window, and so I finished. I had an epidural. It was lovely after that. Second baby, I went in 2 seconds after I got in. I was like, I like to pre-order the epidural. That's how I like to do these. And
you have like a shopping list of like what's going to be done for you, and you're like, I like this. I can do labor as many times as I want.
You know what? Epidural, then shoot me up with some Pitocin. Let's get this baby going. Let's go. So I totally thought I was in one camp, and when the rubber hit the road, I just like jumped ship completely into the other camp. And you know what? I got 2 healthy boys, no regrets. Everything went well. So yeah.
I think that's the point, though. I feel like you should be allowed to. Whatever makes you feel good and whatever that's going to make you feel most successful in your birth and make you feel rooted to you, that should be your birth plan. I always get so weirded out when moms are like, I can't do this or I can't do that or it has to be this way. And I'm like, and you're allowed to have it however way you want. So does the next mom. I think it's great if you went all natural, and I think it's great if you braved it and did C-sections for all 4 kids. Great. Right. Good for you. Like, you know what was good for you. That I think the point is
the hard work is coming up.
Say that again?
I said the hard work is coming.
Yeah, exactly. I think either way.
Bring this baby in. Let's make that not such a huge deal. And I think I'm 35, and I think the lesson of my 30s has been, and I don't know if you're a Glennon Doyle fan. I'm a huge Untamed Glennon Doyle fan. And the lesson that I have learned since I read her books is is okay to change your mind.
Okay, so I don't know who that is. I know I was nodding, but I am a huge reader, so I will happily write that author down and be like,
oh my goodness, yes. Her whole mantra. She has a podcast as well called "We Can Do Hard Things." I strongly suggest it. I do a lot of deliveries and sales calls and driving to the cities and to new clients, and I always have her voice in my head.
Yeah,
you can do hard things. You change your mind. You take care of yourself. And it's phenomenal. Yeah.
That's so awesome. I think as moms, we need to do that more. We need, as much as we tell ourselves the negative things, we need to verbalize it out loud. And no matter how wacky we look to say that, because I know I did that a lot. Like when my husband was deployed, I talked to myself all the time to be like, you're doing this. You are the rock mom. You are Beyonce. You've got this. It's annoying. You are tired and we're doing this. And I remember one time my husband was, on a call or something, and he had logged on, and he's like, what are you doing? You're walking around talking to yourself, full on loud. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I do this a lot. Okay. It is a quarantine and I am okay. I promise you. Okay. This is
my new normal.
By my therapist.
Also, I cannot say enough for therapy. Therapy.
What?
If you're not getting therapy and you think you need it, you definitely need it. I love therapy.
I think everybody should have it. I think it should be part of junior high, high school. Everybody should have an hour to just digest in their feelings and process life and just make better decisions out of it and know how to be the better partner, and as far as relationships and what you want and all that. I think
we've changed so much. Every 5 years it should be a mandatory 6.
Yes. It should be a birthday gift every 5 years by the government. Just be this is your guaranteed 1 hour to yourself. Go celebrate. It should be as awesome as getting massage. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So my next one here is called Hell No. It's relationship things that are a hard boundary that you don't want to partake in, or that your partner was just no. Or something that's playful that you're you think it's funny, but he doesn't think it's funny. Or a body part, or partner habits. I gave you a variety there.
I love this category. It's really funny because I think, again, as you get older, you're just I'm not, when I first got married, I never wanted to say no, thank you. No, my husband Ryan is so sweet, and he'll be he'll always bring me treats and snacks and loves to treat me with tasty things, and I'd be okay. Okay, now I need to just say
I love your nervous laugh.
Right. I love this. I know. I would say, so my husband is the healthiest person that I've ever met. He's the kind of guy who's he drinks 2 beers a week, maybe. He does CrossFit for 2 hours a day. It makes him happy. He knows himself, and he is an extremely self-disciplined person. But what we have discovered this year is that is you. And this is and for a while, he would try to encourage me in fitness. And it was a hard no. I reverted back to a 13-year-old girl when I would complain to my mom, oh, my body, I don't like it. And she'd be why don't you go for a run? And I'm why don't you shut up and pass me those Doritos?
Just go make me another drink, okay?
No,
I no
as soon as I get encouraged, I've learned about myself, and in our relationship, we have learned it is a hard no to encourage me in healthy habits. It has to be me. It has to be my decision, and if it's anyone else's decision, I will do a 180 and dive right back into the thing I said I didn't want to do, because I don't And I'm learning that about myself. I do not want to be told what to do.
That is awesome. That's amazing. And I have to say, I know earlier you said you guys you do CrossFit. So do you guys do the sessions together, or are you kind of like, no, I'll go separate from you?
So he went first and then I went, and then he decided the community part of it isn't as important for him. So we have a gym in our basement. And so we have all the equipment. We have like everything you could possibly want. And I'm like, I think I'm just going to lay on my yoga mat with my blanket and call it exercise. That's totally me. And he would encourage me in it. And then eventually, like, it took me time, but it had to be 100% my decision to join again. And we definitely do fitness separate. Our health goals are separate. We both, of course, want each other to be super healthy, but my husband's like on an elite level, and I'm like down here, like just baby steps. And I've just become so patient with myself. Like, this is me today.
That's so good.
I'm doing unbelievable today.
Yeah. You're like, I'm doing great. I am awesome. I see baby abs, and I ate well too. I'm doing great.
You know, another thing, I don't weigh myself anymore. Like, ever. I don't care. I feel like is it Steve Hawking has a quote where someone's like, hey, do you know what your IQ is? He's like, no, only idiots know their IQ. And I was like, now that's my thing. It's like, if someone's like, how much do you weigh? I was like, I don't know. Idiots know how much they weigh. I don't need to know that. It's not a number I'm interested in learning or knowing. And I've been way happier since I've thrown away my scale.
That's so awesome. I think as females, what an image, because I've never really been like health, fitness, and gotta do everything and protein shakes. I'm more like an intuitive eater, and I've always been a lot healthier in that way. Like,
oh yeah, if I get on a diet, then that's all I want is food. More food of whatever it is being. Like I said, I don't like being told what to do. So if a diet tells me don't have that, I'm like, now I'm going to have a copious amount.
It's like, see, I told you I didn't like this. I was telling you, so now I'm going to finish the whole ice cream, and it was delicious, and I don't regret it. That was me too when I tried dieting, because I was like, what is this thing that people, like, women do? And I was kind of like, I don't like this. I don't feel good. I don't. I'm dropping weight. It is in your head.
I didn't feel good.
And it's also, I didn't want, like, the rhetoric that was in my head about food, like counting points or all, like, at this point, I was like more obsessed about what I was eating and how much than like the nourishment of it. And if it made me feel better for the rest of the day. Like, I still needed to be productive. And if I'm feeling weak and tired because I reached my limit, I don't care. I'm going to keep eating because I want to feel better.
Yeah. I feel like part of also throwing away my scale has been like embracing, like so since I started this business, I've easily gained 10 pounds. Easily. But like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, girl, you are crushing it. You cannot have a banging business and a banging bod all at the same time. Cut yourself a break. You're doing unbelievable. The bod will come later. And right now, just love where you're at. I'm like, you gained 10 pounds. Boobs look better. Butt looks better. It's like,
I mean, I'm sure you and I'm sure your husband is not complaining about the sex life. So my thing is just like, I could be in sweatpants all day long and he could still be like, I still want it tonight. And I'm like, really, dude? Is it going to be a quickie or is it going to be a long one? He was like, no, I want to make love. And I'm like, dang it, that's 45 minutes. I don't feel like 45 minutes. Like I didn't look up or dress up for 45 minutes. I'm dressed up for like 5 minutes. I'll like a plow and then go to bed.
But then don't you feel like once you take the step and you start, then you're like, it's like exercise. Like if I start and 10 minutes later, I'm still not into it. All right, let's wrap this up quick. But usually I start and I'm like, why? It's like, why don't we do this every day?
Right. He reminds me. Well, he always says that. And he's just like, once we start going, you never really complain though, honey. And I'm like, I know. You keep reminding me of how we became bunny rabbits and how we've been together for like, why it works for 15 years. Like, thank you for telling me that. And he's just like, you're kind of a lazy bunny rabbit, but you go, you produce. And I'm like, thanks. I appreciate that comment. I will take that in as positive feedback that I think I'm doing.
You're a lazy bunny rabbit. Can that be the title of this episode?
Yeah. It could be if you'd like it to be, for sure. It's a good thing. Bunny rabbits are great. They plenish the world, right? And who doesn't love how soft and fluffy they are?
I think the more that like through all of these different areas of my life, business or fitness or whatever it is, Like the more that I just accept where I am and I'm proud of where I am, the kinder I am to myself and the more motivated I am to like, I used to think when I saw a goal that was it. Like I am not doing well because I have a goal and I could be better. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just on one mountaintop and now I can see another mountaintop. Like I'm already doing great and now I can just see the next thing. So just because progress can be made, it doesn't mean that I need to feel bad about where I am right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I've never heard about it like that, but that is so true. Once you are on the top, you can see the mountaintop. You can see the top of all the other mountaintops, and you can almost see all the steps to reach the other mountaintops. How beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that analogy. Okay, so this one is first impressions. It's one thing people misunderstand about you that is just like so not you.
Well, people can't see this, but like I have a shaved head and like bleach blonde hair and tattoos.
So she just took off her hat this whole time. I thought she had like bangs and like a hair in a ponytail or something because she's a hardworking mama. But she's got like a mohawk like what is that? Like, and it's like bleach blonde. It reminds me of like Pink when she's like on her unicorn, like her like 4th, 5th album. Oh my God, you were so cool. I thought you were cool, but now I'm like, can I be you?
And now let me bring you to the misconception. I am the opposite of cool. I am not a cool person. Like I love my tattoos. I love my haircut. I like to express myself, but I am like the least cool person that you're going to be.
What makes you say that? What makes you feel less cool? I mean, I already told you how I'm not cool. Like, I'm not athletic at all. I don't participate. Like, I don't do like, I have friends who are like, let's just go golfing. Like, Top Golf is what it's called. And I'm like, I'll go for the apps. I really like the couches. Like, I like that. I mean, I know the whole menu. I'm not picking up the thing. What is it called? Like whatever you call it. I'm not doing that. Every time I do it, I score horribly. And socially, it's like not fun. And that's like, oh, Flantha, how much have you drank? And I'm like, nothing. Okay. And that's embarrassing.
We each got our own picture, right? That was what we were doing. So I guess people might think like because of my tough haircut or tattoos that like I'm tough or I'm cool, but like all I want to do is like sit down and learn about your heart and probably give you a hug.
Oh, so you are like a bunny.
I'm a sweet bunny. You're a lazy bunny.
I'm a lazy bunny. But you could be the sweet one. That's fine because bunnies are both, okay? They're all bunnies.
So I would say that's probably a misconception. And I've been told by my kids multiple times, they don't use the word bitchy, but they're like, you look so mad all the time. I was like, what? They're like, just your face. Like, how are you mad? It's like, maybe I need a little Botox or something. Just so I'm not like having like a perpetual scowl.
I do too. Look, when I'm not, like when it's just my face, it's almost like, who are you so pissed off at, Flantha? And I'm like, I'm not mad. Like, what? I had a great day. That's why, like, whenever it comes to, like, pictures, I can never do, like, candid photos because I always have, like, a look like I'm thinking about something or, like, I'm yelling at my kid or something. But I'm like, I literally was just watching. I don't know what's wrong with my face. And let me smile or do a half smile so it looks like I'm engaged. So we can get the half engaged look and not the big scowl or, like, the resting bitch face going on. So yeah, I get it. I totally get it. And it's like, I can get loud. I'm 4'11". You want to expect that, but I can get loud, but it's because I'm having a good time, not because I'm mad at anybody.
I'm 5 foot and maybe it's the small girl syndrome or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I've heard that too. And I'm like, at first I was like, what's a small girl syndrome? Is that like, I am the most airheaded person when it comes to these things. English is not my first language. And so sometimes when I hear American synonyms, what are they called? Idioms. I'm like, huh? That makes no sense. I don't understand it. Like, and my husband would be like, you don't get it. And I'm like, I get it. I just don't know why you would say it like that. That's so dumb. And he was like, okay, never mind. You missed the whole dang point.
They are dumb.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for saying that because I think
welcome. You are welcome.
But I also relish in the moment when I use it right because then I'm laughing at myself. Like, I did a great American thing. I now belong. And he thinks it is the funniest thing when I do it in public and social gatherings because I try so hard to be right that when I am right, I am the only one laughing and nobody understands why the heck I'm laughing.
I have a friend who her parents were missionaries in Japan. So she grew up in Japan and she watched like Netflix and she's like, I'm like studying because like I'm left out of so many conversations because I don't get the joke about the like whatever people are watching. I just watch it so I'm included in on the conversation.
Yeah. That's me too.
I did not grow up watching Friends and Seinfeld. I did not grow up watching The Simpsons. Like, but I feel like I need to know these things because all of my other friends who grew up in the 90s know these things and I don't want to be left out anymore. So that's my homework.
Yes, that's how I feel too. And so when I do use it right, I am laughing and I don't mind it because friends laugh at me too. And I just like to think they are laughing with me, that I am now a part of Americanness as well too. It makes me feel cool. Okay. So like that literally tells you how lame I am. And my husband will literally be like, you think you're really funny, but like I'm cool. Like you try really hard to be cool. So what's another thing that you think that what makes you not cool? Because I think you're really cool. I kind of have a girl crush on you now. You are just
thank you. What is something else I think that makes me not cool? I think probably like when I'm living my best life, it's probably because I'm going to bed at like 8:30 and like my goals are like the things that I enjoy are like the habits of an 80-year-old woman. Like
okay,
I really love to get back into knitting.
Friends.
Like I just bought this like Sudoku like board game that I'm really big into. I do puzzles. Like I'm just all the habits that I like are like things I can do under a blanket, cuddled up on the couch with like my knitting or my Sudoku puzzle or my puzzle. Like if I want a day off, I'm like, okay, honey, I'm going to puzzle today.
I feel like the only thing missing for you is that rocking chair and that front porch at this point, right?
And I would love that. I do have a rocking chair.
I would love that. I'm laughing because I do have rocking chairs on my front porch on purpose.
But right now it's not heated. My front porch is cold, so I'm missing my rocking chair on my front porch. I have multiple.
You will have to send me that selfie in the middle of summer when you start rocking in it, and I'll send you mine because I think we're both grandmas together. Like at this point, now that I know so much about you, I just want to give you a big old hug because I feel like
I want to know your heart and I want to hug you.
Yeah, see, you were so right, and that's how I am. I always want to know like people's stories or like what makes you you. Like then we can be friends. I don't like the whole like small talk. Like I can do it, but like what is the story? So
and I love your podcast because your goal, you really support business women and entrepreneurs, but you do it by making us real people. Like It's more impressive to me and to other people. Like I just want to know what makes you you and not like how many locations are you in and what was your bottom line. Like, yeah, there's a time for that, but usually it's like at a board meeting and that's not where we are. Like that's not what's going to make me buy your product.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have any products. I mean, I guess you're my product, but I appreciate that. It means a lot, especially as a small business owner. And I take that in and I receive it. Okay, so this next one is called Not My Secret. It's a good laugh. Some have shared their, short stories. Some have shared days they haven't brushed their teeth because they completely forgot. Or it's just like social awkwardness. Like Irish goodbyes, I'm awful at that. I am actually really great at Irish goodbyes.
I'm 25% Irish, so.
Oh. Well, we would just both leave together without saying
Hey, I would love that because I am at a party. My husband hates it, but I'm like, I don't know why. I feel like I have to close down every party. I don't want to ever leave and make someone think I didn't have a good time. So like, I personally feel obligated to make the party fun until the end and mostly for my husband.
So are you the introvert or are you the extrovert? And then are you guys both the extroverts?
I am totally the extrovert. I get totally charged up on being with people. Like I have a day off and I'm like, I'm just going to stay in the bath, which I do. I take like hour-long baths every day.
I do too. I love them.
And I have the tiniest little bathtub. I'm like, okay, when this business goes big, my number one thing I'm going to do is upgrade my bathtub.
No way. That's what I said too.
I don't care about cars. I really don't care about how big my house is, but I want a baller bathroom.
That's what I said. I was like, it's all about the bathtub and it's all about the window by the bathtub and it's all about the right salts and the quality of that. Like, this is how you know I'm an old person. Like,
I'm right here with you.
I like my
mason jar of Epsom salt next to it. I just emptied it yesterday. It's a problem. I'm going to go buy it on Amazon. And
it's so good. I don't know if you've heard, but like Primarily Pure, their bath salts are amazing. And like, I'm an affiliate for it, but like before that, like the reason why is because I love their stuff. It's so luxurious. And I especially love like you actually get the real rose petals and it's not like fake scented stuff when you put it in and you're like, oh, this is very perfumey. It's very like, wow.
100% sold now because I am the same way with my cocktail mix. Like I refuse. It is such a pain in the ass. It is such a pain in the ass I don't use any extracts. I don't use any pre-juiced juices. I don't use, like, if there is that flavor in it, the whole fruit went in it. Like I zested it, I peeled it, I chopped up all the grapefruit and then I squeezed it and I put it in. Like if there's any of the flavors, because I can't stand fake, because it's so obvious when I put 10 pounds of real rosemary in my product versus like a cup of rosemary oil.
Yes, you can definitely, again, going back to bath salts, this is why I'm so particular because I love my baths and I need them to be that moment of pause for me. And so
cocktails. I feel like dazzling cocktails, and I do bring them together quite often.
I will make sure that's on my content when you send me the sampler, and I will make sure that is done because I do usually have a cocktail with my bath.
Oh my gosh. This is the beauty of this podcast. It takes about 45 minutes of really digging in, and then we're like, wait, are we both having a cocktail bath every night?
Yes. And you listening, and now you got to have a cocktail and take a bath and send us a selfie when you do that too, because this is our community. And I think Leah and I just became best friends, or if she'll have me as her friend.
I'll have you.
Well, thank you so much, Leah, for having this episode with us. I feel like it was just another girl chat. And thank you for giving us this break today on what it means to be a powerful mama who is owning her business and just taking all the boss moves. We need more permissions like that. So keep it on. And I'll talk to you guys next week.
I'm going to take this moment to have a boss move and tell all your listeners, you have to go to sweethaventonics.com and order yourself a moment of a blissful craft cocktail that literally anyone can make. We have all the flavors for anyone. We ship all across the United States. Go get yours, sweethaventonics.com.
Okay, so where else can they find you on the socials?
So we are at sweethaven_tonics on Instagram. And if you search Sweet Haven Tonics, we're on Facebook too. So we just had a gorgeous photo shoot done. So we have upgraded from the iPhone photos to some pretty legit photos.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I want to see them now. And she's giving you all the information, and all of this will be also in the show notes. So give her some love. And I can't wait to show you how I taste them as well too, because I'm all about the authenticity and I'm all about the craft of it. So thank you again for joining us in this hour.
Let me throw a little promo at you too. So if you use the code SWEET15, sweet and then the number 15, we'll give you 15% off your first order.
Oh, you'll bet that will be in the show notes so that you can get your exclusive 15% off. And I will make sure that is a top headliner. Leah, you are just banging this whole podcast thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of The Necessary Break with your host, Philantha. We love that you enjoyed yourself with this episode. Send us a voice memo of your favorite moment, write a 5-star review, and click subscribe to be the first to listen to the next episode. See you next week.